Hello and welcome again to another edition of Back in Shape with T. I'm Terahshea, and today we're going to go over playground training, power vest usage, and family fun fitness. How to train with your kids without being a drill sergeant. So without further ado, I'm going into the dips. I dip on the playground. Today is a day where I'll go back and forth between doing pull-ups and dips. Notice that my shoulders are going to have some strain on them, so you'll see the anterior and lateral head of the deltoid working, the tricep, and the chest working. I'm only going to bend down to about 90-degree bend in my elbow. From here, I'm going into a crunch, not an L sit, not a straight body, but a C curve in my spine. Look how my spine is curved. I'm holding a fully contracted static crunch as I roll my hips up into 30 degrees of flexion of my spine to get my rectus abdominis going. So this is a static crunch to a leg raise. I had a little bit of elbow tendonitis here, so I'm warming it up and getting just about 11 reps out of this. Neutral hand grip. I like to use this because I don't get to use it at home, a neutral hand grip. So it's really fun to do. Notice I will not go below 90 degrees in my elbow joint because the head of the humerus will put too much pressure into the anterior capsule of the shoulder, which will cause ligamentous strain. We don't want to cause ligamentous strain. We want to build the muscle, not break down the ligaments in the joints. We don't want to cause impingement. Again, another technique that I employ here, I scoop my belly button in toward the spine, but I really keep a full-on contraction into the spine, into the abdominals while I do this. Now I'm going to bang out a few reps with my 40-pound power vest on. Let's see, I think I did about 5 here. It's a real big difference when you add 40 pounds of weight. No duh, right? So it's a struggle. And I think I got a little bit more than 5 here. I love how this vest gives me a lot of opportunity to stay fluid in my body because it's not impinging on my my shoulders. It's not stressing the rest of my anatomy. Jump into some progressive overload with the dips. Again, I can hit about 30 dips with no weight. And with this 40-pound vest, I feel the same amount of muscle tension and fatigue that I do when I hit 30 reps. So training with a power vest certainly makes you a lot more efficient. It speeds up the workout, gives you more results, so you don't have to do as many. You can do 10 repetitions and get the same feel that you get with 30 wearing the power vest. Now that I'm warmed up here, I had to take off the power vest because I can't get enough repetitions going, and I'm in the middle of playing basketball with my son. That's how I'm getting my cardio for the day. So I move around smooth, jogging, keeping myself in a nice light field, jumping, twisting, grinding out, jumping up and up and up. See, I'm keeping myself up. Like when you jump rope, this type of stuff prepares your ankles, your Achilles, your shins. So doing exercises like a jump rope on a regular basis really prepares you for playing like a basic game of basketball with your child. You're moving and grooving. You're moving side to side, front to back, twisting, jumping, running. It's a lot of action going on. And as a father who's in his mid-40s, you want to be able to burn that extra body fat, burn that beer belly. It's a great way to increase testosterone. Another way I get my cardiovascular exercise is I'll do the bike. And I tried this particular Aerodyne style bike. It's cheaper. It's not as good, but it gives you a decent workout. I hit this for an hour, and trust me, it is a monotonous workout. But if you can find one on the cheap like this, you go get it. It's good for you. Your back gets work. All of the cardio that I've been doing, it's very important to get phytonutrients back into me. Sometimes I juice, sometimes I get the phytonutrients from a great source. One of my favorite sources to get things from is Gary Null. Back in 1995, Gary Null was somebody I started studying for holistic health and wellness when I was in New York. I was into bodybuilding, I was into sports, but I wanted to know how is it that the average person in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they're people who are 200-300 pounds overweight, how do they get fit? So I started going health support groups, watching him and listening to him talk about his running club, walking club, and holistic health and wellness. And I became a big fan of Gary Null, the old school total gym. If you ever see one of these at a yard sale, pick it up, guys. I teach spinning on a regular basis. I'm a sub. It's another one of my favorite ways to burn fat. Most bodybuilders and people who are looking just to improve their physique, they do it predominantly through diet and weight training, resistance training. There's a huge, pardon the pun, resistance to cardiovascular training. A lot of people will tell you how dangerous cardio is, too much cardio is. And it's true. You don't want to obsess over this. If you're able to do 30 minutes of rigorous cardiovascular exercise 6 days a week, you'll be certainly a lot healthier. But my goal was to drop 20 pounds, or 22 pounds rather, in 6 weeks. I was able to drop 23 pounds by doing a significant amount of cardio. I would run 35 miles a week, which came out to about 5 miles a day. And sometimes when I didn't want to run, I'd hit the elliptical or the bike. Or sometimes I would go 1.5 hours of doing cardio. But I kept myself relatively fit by putting the right nutrients back into the body, the right antioxidants. Jumping rope had become a staple of mine when I lift weights at home. Doing this with my daughter is completely fun because I don't want her to have to adhere to a certain number. I just want her to do it till she fatigues. These front snap kicks that I try to get her to do really helps her balance and her coordination a little bit. And I don't want to over push her. I just want to do it to where she thinks it's fun enough. So I'll stop her at 10 on each leg before we get into our little tennis drills and warm up here. She's running around the court because she chose to, just to get her little warm up on. One time around the court. Again, I'm not trying to push a little champion. She stretches out her posterior deltoids and she messes up the tricep stretch. But Daddy comes to save her, my little monster. And look at the action you get with tennis. A lot of internal rotation, horizontal adduction of the shoulder girdle, a nice stepping lunge, rotation of the hip. You get ankle stability, you get calf muscle action, working the quads, working the glutes. A lot of the primal movement patterns get taken over when you do tennis. So I recommend that any of you who have little children who seem to be athletic, I recommend you put a tennis racket in her hand. Watch her taking that first step, moving around, twisting, backhand, going toward the net, staying a little active. Look at her move toward it. It's a great way to get some fitness and be kind of fun. So you get an upper body and lower body movement and trunk rotation, by the way. Nice return on her. Look at this. This little baby knocks it over. I have to chase it down. I hit it right back to her, and she scored on me. So yeah, the playground is a great place to get some exercise, especially if you don't have a lot of time. I have a truck driver. One of my best friends is a truck driver, and if you just need to get out there and move around for about 10-15 minutes while you're on the road to keep yourself going, it's a start. And like I said, if you need to put nutrients back into your body and bring down that inflammation from the free radical breakdown, antioxidants are great. I like to do a simple apple cider vinegar drink sometimes. I'll put about 3 ounces of apple cider vinegar in with 6 ounces of water and call it a day. That's one of the ways I get my antioxidants. But I really do focus on getting the best of the antioxidants and the phytonutrients to get back into my system. Things like raw cacao, vitamin C, resveratrol, all of these things. I've been all up on this stuff since about 1995. I felt like I was a man screaming in the silo by myself, hearing the echoes. And in that echo chamber, I never thought that people would understand the benefits of quercetin. And nowadays, you got so many young, quote-unquote, brilliant people on the internet telling me what to do when I was, into this stuff. Nobody was into it. Now I see that, the message has taken hold. I love it.